they don't really want to talk about. Just because somebody didn't survive it. But everybody, I appreciate everybody's opinion. And believe me, they send them. They send in their opinions, and I appreciate it. I will never stop anybody's voice. If you're over here on YouTube and you do not know, this is your girl saying it all knowing on YouTube and the knowing over here on Facebook. Coming at you with another video. We're talking about the Karmelo Anthony. Remember, this is not the basketball player. I don't think they're any related at all. This was the one at the track meeting. I think this was out in Texas. And it happened last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. One of the days I was extremely sick. I was getting, hey, Miss Grace over on YouTube, I was getting so many videos about it. I'm going to say this, and remember, we can always agree to disagree. And I have no problem with it. I may see things a little bit different than people do, and that's fine. But the first thing that I'm going to say is, why did he have a knife? I ran track. When there was a delay of some reason, we were over in our own corner. I don't know what happened over there, and I'm not trying to act like I did. But why was there a knife? People can write in and tell us how we should feel, but I have a lot of questions. I really do. I don't look at things like a lot of people look at it. I don't look at things black and white. I never have. I look for answers. And I said last night, I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I have researched it today. I've looked at some of, hey, Miss Evelyn. I've looked at some of, hey, the real Michelle. I looked at it. But still, I do understand that people are saying you play things out in court, not through news channels. That ain't true. A lot of people come to social media. They go to main stream media. And, I mean, it's various ways that people come out. But the only thing I said, what happened to the days where people fist if somebody mess with you? You know, because regardless of what people are saying, like I said, I respect everybody's opinions, but someone did perish. They're no longer with us. Hey, Miss Tracy, they're no longer with us. And, you know, I was listening to another person, and they said they're trying to make these twins out to be bad, and they weren't. You know, so I believe in getting the facts about everything. And one thing was, I asked, do they allow you to have, hold on, y'all. Let me get rid of somebody. So, I don't know how you all feel, but let's talk about it. Let's have a dialogue about it. You know, how do you feel about it? Do you feel, you know, that, you know, he shouldn't be up under bond? Hello? Over on YouTube, how you doing? What do y'all think? Because everybody asking us, and I know, first of all, I need to look at more of it. Second of all, why did he have a knife? Because somebody tell you to move and they might put their hand on. But does that justify unaliving someone? Hey, Miss Robertson, do it. See, there's a lot of feelings that I have because I have to put myself in it. If it was my child, I'd be devastated if I'm sending them to a track meet and think they're coming back and they don't. And people say, okay, you can't put your hands on people. I didn't say you could. But I'm not going to turn it into a race war anyway. And this is probably my last time talking about this. Because there's no need. I don't get on subjects to argue, fuss, and go back and forth. Nobody. And everybody's bringing up stuff. He got a 4.0. Well, me and Tim just heard another video. He got a 3.7. Great. But when somebody asks you, did you do something? And you say, oh, it ain't allegedly, I did it. A bit too cocky now. And this right here will get you in trouble all the time. I don't care who you are. So we just have to look at that. Now, I'm done with that. I told you I was going to talk about it for a few minutes, and I was going to be finished. I'm confused at how you get a knife in the school. See, I don't understand that. But now, when I was in school and we played, I ran track, and I was the first leg on the relay and jumped the hurdles. They didn't check our bags coming in, but they checked the visitors' bags, which that didn't make sense to me. They didn't check our bags, but they checked the visitors. Like, everybody who was on the track team is what I'm saying. They didn't check anything. But if somebody else came, they went through it. The detector. I don't know. But that's what I was confused about too, Miss Jean. How did you get it on? And then if you did it in if you did something in self-defense, if I had to defend myself, I'm gonna stay right here until the authorities come. Because I was defending myself. I'm not gonna run. I'm not leaving. I'm gonna stay right here. So there's a lot of questions that I have. So I'm just going to bypass that. Because I want to talk about, not that this is not important, but this right here. It'll get backwards and forth going, and I ain't doing that for nobody. I want to talk about the young lady that was out of Atlanta that went to, was it Alabama State University? She was one of they call it something, but she was a dancer, and she could really move. And she was a big girl. And her boyfriend unalived her, but tried to say that it was suicide. You can't shoot me here with this hand. Sometimes people don't think he has been charged with murder, as he should be. But the mother was saying how they treated him like family and all of this stuff. She met him there. They went together for 2 years. She found something supposed in his phone. She was about to break up with him. I think they had a 9-month-old. And then finally they realized, no, he unalived her. And he's in jail right now, as he should be. And the mother has no daughter. And one thing that she said was true. A lot of times when men are beating on us, or vice versa, because women beat on men, we don't tell nobody. We're ashamed. And we continue to let it go on. And nobody knew that he was beating me because I was too embarrassed to tell anybody. Now, that 9-month-old gonna grow up without parents. I just don't understand about how people don't like rejection anymore. I found stuff in your phone. If that's the case, I'm not interested in you anymore. I'm moving on with my life. Why unalive me? So, it brought me back to a situation where I taught a young lady before Christmas at one of my adjunct positions. What is that? Working part-time at another university. And I thought about her when I heard that case. And I called her. I could not get her yesterday. And yesterday, me and Tim, we just kind of rest. She didn't feel good. I didn't feel good. But I tried to call her and I could not get her. And I said, hey, this is Doc. Call me back as soon as you can. And she called me back this morning. But I was teaching, so I texted her and said, hey, I'm going to call you when I get out. She said, are you okay? I said, oh, yeah, I'm fine. And so I called her, and she said, I knew that's why you were calling me. And she said, I knew it. Because she and I had a conversation maybe a month and a half ago about something. And I just wanted to know she was okay. See, I'm going to tell you. If y'all start, I'm feeling bad, Miss Bernice, but I'm not as bad as I was, if that makes sense. Um, but when people say, where y'all at? Where you and T at? Y'all ain't responding. We ain't scared to respond to anything. But sometimes I like to hush, sit back, and see what happens. I really do. But with this case about the girl, she said, did you see that? I said, yep, I did. A dancing machine. I love to see thick girls that can get out there and throw that hair and shake it because she could. Can't take that from her. And they said her confidence has always been at an all high. I love that for her. But now she went to Alabama State, met somebody, and you really don't know them. And now she's not around anymore. So you got to be careful. And I told y'all, in Perry, Georgia, go look it up. And again, go look it up if y'all want to talk about it. If y'all don't, I have no problem with it. I wouldn't even came out and talked about this Karmelo again because I did a video over on YouTube. I probably would have updated it down and let it win. Because I want to wait. I told you I want to wait, but we had to go ahead and get out in front of it. But I wanted to wait on it. Hey, Miss Emma, to see what happens. And that's what a lot of times I do. I wait. I don't really say nothing. But to make a long story short, you got to be careful who you dating. Because in Perry, the grandmother, the mother, the daughter had broken up with him, and her 2 or 3-year-old, he unalived all of them. When you don't want people no more, they'll get rid of you. Y'all can say Doc crazy and all this other stuff y'all want to say, but people will get rid of you. You got to be careful of people that you meet. Yes, you do. I'm praying for you. And T, thank you, Miss Bernice. Thank you for praying for us. Hey, Miss Dale. So, y'all, it's so many stories out here. It's so much stuff happening. We just can't hardly keep up with it. But the Karmelo Anthony, I'm going to put that on the back burner for a while. But I'm still going to research it. I'm going to still take my notes. And then I'll come back and tell y'all what I find after we look at it. Hey, Greg. Yes, ma'am, it is. You just have to be careful. You know, and you know, you can't even trust your family. Honey, I believe my sister had an opportunity to plot my murder, she would. And that's the truth. Child, they'll get rid of the doc. If she could. When you mess up somebody playing, they will plot for your demise. But remember now, I'm a child of the Most High. And I don't let my guard down. I don't let time pass and say everything gonna be okay. I keep it up. I do. And do we really know who people are? I haven't really got into this story. Somebody just sent it to where this young lady had broke up with this guy, started actually talking to a new guy. Didn't he unalive her and throw the baby over the bridge? Somebody sent me that. If you send it to me or you heard it, send it back. But I'm thinking that he unalived her and threw the baby over the bridge.
I did hear a story with
Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Threw her over the balcony. He said, "You're gonna die today."
Do the girl or the baby?
The baby over the balcony.
That's right, Greg. I'm covered, and I tell Tia that all the time. I'm covered by the blood, and nobody don't make me lose my license. And Tia like to use that for a point. She said, "What you say, die? Ain't nobody gonna make me lose my license. I ain't that crazy." Hey, Miss Denise, that's why you need to date for over a year before marrying and letting someone live with you. That's Miss Bernice. Don't even date them a year. You let them jokers stay in their own house, and you stay in yours. And pray about it. And if the Lord said y'all come together when the marriage ceremony comes. Put no trust in man. I don't trust no man. I don't. Now see, I live by it over here on YouTube. I live by it. I don't trust nobody. Tim will tell you that. I'm always looking. I don't trust anybody. The other night, we weren't looking for nobody. Somebody kept knocking on the door. Tia kept saying, who it is? And I was in the kitchen. She said, Doc, who's that? I said, I don't know, and don't care. She said, well, I said, girl, I ain't got to answer that though. So I looked back. Tia done went and got, her nine. And I said, girl, this is probably somebody that we know. And I said, and I went to open the door and she kind of like got in front of me with it. I said, girl, and it was somebody we knew.
They look like, oh shit.
Somebody don't shoot. And she said, I didn't feel any danger, so I didn't care, but she pulled it up immediately.
I about 3 or 4 times. Who is it?
She did. She asked 3 or 4 times. And she said, don't you hear somebody knocking? I saw her, but they outside. They didn't hear. Next thing I know, she turned that car.
I said, wait a minute.
I said, oh, God, let me get to this door. And I got in the way there. As soon as I opened the door, Tia pushed me out. I said, girl. And then she's like, don't shoot. And I said, I'm laughing about it. But after it was over, I said, are we living in times like that? She said, yes. And I sat down in the recliner. And I just, you know what, Miss Drew, I think this Drew, that's one thing we don't do. We never go look at the camera. Have you? Well, that's our buddy. Okay. Listen, them out there won't look at that. We don't. That's a shame too. We should look at that. We don't do that. If we ain't caught, but see, this is the thing. If I don't know you coming, I ain't on the door. I don't care who you are. What dog? Let me tell y'all. On Saturday, I didn't sleep that night. Tia didn't sleep that night. Tia likes to get up to come see if I'm okay. She said, Doc, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm not feeling good. She said, I'm not feeling good. And I said, you got to go to work today. She said, no, I'm not going to work today. So I heard somebody banging on the door. Maybe, I thought it was an hour later, but it was actually like 6 hours later. Because when I woke up, I turned all my devices off. I don't turn my devices off. I don't turn my phone off. But I knew my sister, the one that helped me, she was with my mom. And so, like I said, I thought it was an hour later. It was actually 2:02. And my sister was banging so hard. And she said she had went back to get my mama key to come in. And she said, but I had to go back in and get my friend. Y'all know who a friend is. And she said, my mama said, I want to go. She said, no, mama, I'll be right back. And so when she turned that corner to come in the back, I could see it. And so I went to the door and I started calling her name. And she came back. She said, oh my God, I thought somebody had did something to y'all. And you could just see the frighten on her face, and you can hear my mama saying, is that my baby? Is that my baby? I said, Mama. She said, oh my God. And when I looked at that phone, I said, my God, they don't call 50 times. But I turned the phone off. How do you know they called 50 times? Listen, I got about 6 devices. I just went and looked at one that I silenced, and I saw the messages. How do you do that? You don't have to have 2 or 3 iPhone passwords all of them connected together. That's why all of them go down. They're different numbers, but they're connected together. And so when I saw the fear on her face, I said, Tia, that's why I cannot turn off my phones. And she said, I really thought somebody had did something. So she went to get my mama key to come in. But she said, I'm going to come in by myself. So she had a friend. So we just have to be vigilant about that. And then then I told y'all what happened Saturday night. So yesterday when I was talking to her and my mom, I said, have times gotten this bad where we have to feel this way? We was still, we went to a church with my mom. And when we were taking her back, and we took her to get something to eat and everything, we got something. And so my mama, she said, you going to try to eat the food? I said, no, we'll eat. I said, I'm going to eat mine later. But I was just asking her. She was like, I was so scared yesterday. Something happened. I was like, Mama, has it gotten that bad? And she said, what do you think? I was like, I don't know, because has it gotten to the point where if somebody don't answer the phone that we immediately think the worst? Because I do. I'm going to have to drop y'all off YouTube. I love you. God loves you more. This is Seeing It All None on YouTube. And Tia, and we're out on YouTube. Y'all, I'm just in the